Welcome to The Lead. I'm Jake Tapper. We begin with the politics lead. Former special counsel Robert Mueller finally answering questions before Congress tomorrow. House Democrats, 88 of whom officially supported an impeachment inquiry, hope that tomorrow's all-day testimony will persuade millions more Americans that President Trump committed crimes and is unfit for office. They know most Americans did not read the 448-page Mueller report, and they hope to bring it to life with damning sound bites from the former FBI director. Now, House Republicans, they hope this will be the final act for the special counsel's Russia investigation. They hope to convince you of one conclusion: case closed. The upcoming appearance is clearly on President Trump's mind. He brought it up today.
How about this whole witch hunt that's going on? Should I talk about it for a second? The Russian witch hunt. They got nothing.
Sources tell CNN that President Trump has expressed irritation over Mueller's testimony tomorrow before the House Judiciary Committee, which will focus on the obstruction of justice charges against the president, and the House Intelligence Committee, which will concentrate on attempted 2016 Russian election interference. The president has been spending the last several days discussing Mueller's upcoming testimony with aides and allies and complaining that Democrats simply will not let the investigation go, CNN has learned. Meantime, Democrats and Republicans on the Hill have been intensely preparing for the big day. But, as CNN's Manu Raju now reports for us, both the Department of Justice and Mueller himself are hoping to keep members of Congress focused only on what's in the Mueller report.
Late drama on the eve of the most anticipated congressional hearing in decades, after former special counsel Robert Mueller made a last-minute request to allow his former deputy to be sworn in to answer questions. The GOP raising alarms, with the top Republican on the Judiciary Committee, Doug Collins, saying doing so would undercut the committee's integrity. While Democrats agree to allow the deputy, Aaron Zebley, to sit next to Mueller, a committee source told CNN the special counsel is expected to be the only one sworn in as a witness. The feud underscores the stakes ahead of Wednesday's testimony about Mueller's probe into Russian interference and the president's conduct. Many Democrats argue the hearing will change public perception about President Trump's alleged criminal conduct.
Do you think that it could change the dial on impeachment?
I think it certainly could.
After Mueller requested guidance ahead of his testimony, the Justice Department responded by warning Mueller not to go beyond the boundaries of the report or talk about individuals who are not charged, which could include the president's son, Donald Trump Jr.
I think it's incredibly arrogant of the department to try to instruct him as to what to say. It's part of the ongoing cover-up by the administration to keep information away from the American people.
Privately, both sides holding mock hearings to prepare. Democrats on the House Judiciary Committee focusing on 5 episodes of potential obstruction of justice, including Trump's alleged efforts to fire the special counsel, limit the investigation, and urge witnesses not to cooperate with federal prosecutors. Then the focus will shift to the House Intelligence Committee, where Democrats plan to ask Mueller about Trump's advanced knowledge in 2016 of the WikiLeaks email dump and campaign contacts with the Russians. Republicans want to train their focus on the origins of the probe and alleged bias on Mueller's team, while drilling home the point that no one on the Trump campaign was charged with conspiring with the Russians in 2016, as top Republicans in the Senate are dismissing the hearing.
And I don't think anything Mueller can say that's going to change anybody's mind.
No, I don't intend to be watching it.
Now, as he walked into a mock hearing just moments ago, the Judiciary Committee chairman of the House, Jerry Nadler, just told me that the hearing will go on tomorrow. Now, he would not comment about this issue involving the deputy. He said he would not comment about that, but the hearing will go on tomorrow. And, Jake, this will almost certainly be the only time we will see the special counsel. The Senate Intelligence Committee Chairman, Richard Burr, I asked him, will he bring in the special counsel? He said, if I wanted Mueller, I would have had him by now. I said, well, why not bring him in? He said he did a report. Jake.
All right, Manu Raju on Capitol Hill, thanks so much. Our team of Russia investigation experts joins me now. And Evan, let me start with you. Mueller made this last-minute request to have his deputy, a guy named Aaron Zebley, sworn in for the hearing, though not as a witness, right? So what do you make of this all?
Well, you know, I think it's not unusual for a witness to have, in this case, Zebley was his former chief of staff when Mueller was running the FBI. And so, you know, it's not abnormal for you to have someone sitting behind you when you don't have the answer to something to sort of get help with the answer. I think it potentially helps Mueller answer the questions more fully. It probably makes the hearing better. But I think I can see why Republicans are sort of raising some ruckus about it, because they think it's changing the entire context of what's going to happen tomorrow. I actually think it's going to make it a better hearing, because we're more likely to hear full answers.
You know Robert Mueller. Yep. Democrats, House Democrats in the Judiciary Committee certainly hope that this is going to help change the tide in support for impeachment of President Trump because of the obstruction charges, potential obstruction charges. House Intelligence Committee, they want to educate the public. They want people to understand all the times the Russians reached out and all the times that they were greeted with willingness and then lies by the Trump team. How do you think Mueller's going to comport himself?
I think you can look at two categories here. One is the factual category. That's why somebody I know, Aaron Zebley, would be there. Zebley is not only someone who will know a lot of facts, 2.5 years of an investigation, including stuff like phone, email, financial data. Not bad to have somebody else there trying to recall all that information. And from when I was in the Bureau, Zebley is cool and he's a made man. In other words, he's trusted. In terms of understanding what's happening in the investigation, facts, you'll get those. If the investigation starts to go political with questions like, don't you have a bunch of angry Democrats working for you, that's when I want to watch, because the director I work for doesn't do integrity questions. If they try to come after him, particularly Republicans, on the issue of the integrity of the investigation, watch the show. I'm going to get the popcorn, I keep calling him the director. The special counsel, he's always the director. The special counsel will go after him.
And Neil Katyal, the acting Solicitor General under Obama, suggested the three main questions that he thinks should be posed to Mueller. Quote, first, did your report find there was no collusion? Second, did your report find there was no obstruction? Third, did your report give the president complete and total exoneration? Those are the things that President Trump has claimed. Obviously, they don't exactly match up with the facts. How do you think he's going to answer?
I don't think that Bob Mueller is going to go far beyond what we've seen in the report. And I think that the report itself answers a lot of those questions for us. I mean, it wasn't that they found no obstruction. It's that he said he couldn't clear the president fully of any wrongdoing, and he didn't, feel like he was able to bring charges against him anyway. It's not that they found no collusion whatsoever. It's that they didn't find enough that it would rise to the level of a criminal prosecution. And so I think a lot of sort of those questions debunking the way the president frames that, it's already out there. It's already in the report. It may be different to hear it from Bob Mueller's mouth, but I think between what he has said publicly, so briefly, and then what we saw from the Justice Department in terms of their letter made it very clear that in terms of the substance, we should expect him to reiterate what is out there.
And the president, the White House, they've been all over the map about the Mueller report. They've claimed it exonerated the president. They claimed that it's a hit piece, a witch hunt. How are they going to what's their response going to be tomorrow? I guess we have no idea.
Sources I've spoken with in the White House are basically looking at this as, look, it's not going to be a great day for us. We're going to pay attention. We're going to see what headlines come out of it. There will probably be some unseemly headlines for the president, but the view is that they're going to quickly move on. Certainly there is a sense of irritation, as our reporting indicates, among the president. I mean, he has indicated that publicly, calling it a witch hunt still. And behind the scenes as well, I talked to a source recently who did indicate that, yeah, they're going to be paying close attention to it, briefing the president on what's going on, because, as he has said publicly, he isn't expected to watch all of it from beginning to end. And I think they're just prepared for another day of bad headlines, but that they believe that they're going to be able to move on from this.
So how will Robert Mueller, in your view, your best guess since you know him, if somebody says, does your report claim that there was no obstruction, no collusion, a complete and utter exoneration of the president, as President Trump said, is that true, Special Counsel Mueller?
Let me play Robert Mueller. Let me answer that question. On page 18 of the report, you'll see a reference to obstruction. On page 72, you'll see a reference to Russian interference. I draw your attention to those pages. The facts that we presented there and the judgments we presented there are the same judgments I'd like to present to you today. Next question.
Look, I do think, though, that even if Mueller says a lot of the stuff that's in the report, just having him say it is important. Look, when he made his 9-minute statement the other day, now several weeks ago, right? I thought it was clarifying, because a lot of us read the report and we were struggling with whether or not to interpret this as a referral to Congress, right, on the impeachment issue, right, on the obstruction question. And I think the president's lawyers, everyone else, I certainly did after watching Mueller speak, him using just slightly different language, I think, was clarifying to us, and that's what we all interpreted it to be, that it is sort of a referral. And I think it's in Congress's hands now to handle whether or not they want to do that. And I think that's what you're going to see tomorrow, is you're going to see some clarifying language.